Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Karibuni wote katika webinar hii. We're very pleased to have National Housing Corporation, pia wanajulikana kama NHC. With us, we have our speaker and Tuntu Mwambusi, who will be introduced by Fred, Mjeff, who is our pastor of DICOTA. And on the speaker, nadhani you'll be seeing a presentation. If you go to the section of this presentation of this webinar, you'll be able to download the presentation and take that with you after the session is over. At this time, I would to the session to Frederick and Gemma, pastor of DICOTA, to introduce our speaker. Karibu, Frederick.
Yeah, nashukuru sana Jessica. Ningependa kuwashukuru wote kwa kujoin conference leo on behalf of our chairman Lunda and our president Ndaga Mwakabuta. Na Jessica, ningependa sana kushukuru wewe kwa kuandaa hizi webinar. They've been very productive, the previous one, based on the feedback that we've been receiving. And this is our part of our ongoing strategy to continue to engage the diaspora members, not just during the DICOTA convention, but ongoing throughout the year and between these conventions. Today we have National Housing Corporation will be presenting to you about the opportunities they have and some of the services that they can provide to the diaspora. National Housing has been one of the key supporters of DICOTA and the diaspora in general. Tuntufye Mwambusi has actually attended 2 of our previous conventions. This recent one in Dallas, he brought his team and showed some of their products, and he was also there when we met in 2014 in North Carolina. So some of you might already have met him and his team in person. And I'll let him provide a background on himself and National Housing. I would like to thank National Housing for all their support they've given us and the time they have made on this weekend to join with us and share some of the things they can offer for us. But mostly, I would like to thank the diaspora and those of you who have joined for your time. I know everybody's busy this weekend and this summer, end of summer. Kwa hiyo nikushukuru sana for your time. Ningependa kabla tujaanza put a little bit of a plug on some other things. We have a executive committee election coming up, and if you have not been receiving email information about the nomination process that's underway, please reach out to us so you can participate. And we would like to encourage everybody to step up and volunteer their time to be leaders of DICOTA or other capacity, or if you know some other people there that can help us move our agenda forward, we encourage you to nominate their name for consideration in the upcoming election. So just I'll turn that to you to get Tuntu going. Thank you.
Asante sana, Past Chair Fred, and Karibu Tuntu Mwambusi to walk us through this presentation. Asanteni audience.
Okay, asante sana Jessica, Freddie, and all those people who have taken the trouble to join the session today. Good morning to you all. With me, actually, I'm with Sophia Mwema, who is just a little bit on the next table, but she'll be here at least to help take some notes and also put some inputs whenever required. As introduced, actually, my name is Tuntufye Mwambusi. I'm a marketing manager from National Housing Corporation. As I said before, DICOTA has been a key member to us and has been a key market for us. And for that, we thank you all, Jessica in particular, Freddie, and the whole organizing committee for giving us this kind of a platform. So today, basically, we said, it's more about sharing the idea of how able can you buy a house in Tanzania while you're actually in USA or you're outside the country. We know the trouble that many people have gone through, especially like, you know, trying to build their houses in Tanzania, but unfortunately, most of the dreams didn't turn out to be reality. Some people have lost a lot of money, even get to the situation where, you know, you come into confrontation with the family members, which you entrusted them to be able to help you out in taking care and, like, you know, making sure that your house is being built. So National Housing has been coming with a lot of projects. Actually, as we're saying right now, actually we're focusing on our strategic plan of 10 years that is starting from 2015-2016 to 2024-2025. That's a 10-year strategic plan, which has already been started in execution after the expire of the 5-year plan, which was 2010-2015. The previous target was actually 15,000 units, 5,000 being more of affordable housing, and 10 being the mix of mid and high-end products. In total, actually, we did almost 5,000 units that were completed. Part were completed and some are still on progress, and 9,800 and something are still on upcoming. But more of the focus right now is to see our strategy for 10 years plan is being executed. We've had a lot of learning from the previous strategy. Where actually, if most of you could remember back or refresh back how national housing was perceived in the past. For so many years ago, before the new management came into operation, like, you know, there had been nothing or little activity that was done by national housing, apart from the old buildings, and most of them actually were not in a good shape. So with the new management, which started in 2010, actually there have been a lot of things more focusing on a brand building trust to the community, and trying to put down, you know, the strategy to make sure at least the strategy are being achieved. So there have been a lot of learning in terms of, like, you know, how do we execute our constructions, how do we work with our stakeholders, and more importantly on how do we organize ourselves in terms of getting financing to be able to run the project. So if you can focus on what we are supposed to do actually on a 5-year plan and what we achieved, we still feel proud of, like, you know, there have been something that have been seen in the market and the trust has been increased. Much more, our brand right now is being perceived more in a positive way than before. So the strategy of the 10 years is more about building 30,000 units from affordable, mid, and high end. Then focusing on commercial projects where we have a lot of you know, commercial building coming up, offices, retail, shopping areas. Those are few to mention. But again, with the 10 years program, you'll see more of the satellite city coming up. We have started actually with Kawe, where 2 projects are up and running right now. We started with the 7-Eleven projects, which is a project with a size of 111,000 gross floor area. That's a GFA. So it's one of the big projects National Housing has undertaken on the current, and the project is ongoing. We have done more like, you know, building 8 towers, which are still on construction. The second project is within the Kawe Satellite City, which is actually called GPL or Golden Premier, which has just started right now. But again, if I reflect now back on the presentation, which I know most of you are able now to look, that was just a quick snapshot of where we are. So I'm now turning back to the presentation. Slide number 2, where we have our footprint that shows, like, you know, the footprint that National Housing has done so far, where the projects are located. We have several numbers of projects which are still ongoing in many parts of the country of Tanzania. But again, as I've mentioned, like, you know, those projects which are bigger one, like a Morocco Square, which we have actually in Dar-es-Salaam, which is on slide number 3. This is a bigger project that, you know, I would say, like, you know, the biggest project to be undertaken in East Africa, being built under one foundation. It has a total of 110,000 square meters. It has a combination of residential, offices, shopping mall, and the hotel. So far, from the residential perspective, most of the apartment has been taken, and we have only remained with 9 units from the residential part. So those are still available. At the end of the day, or within the presentation, you'll find the contact persons, okay, where you can make your inquiries. And as I've introduced, like Sophia Mwema is one of the people who is dealing with the diaspora market, and we'll also provide the address for you to be able to contact, or we send it through Jessica for him to circulate to all members. So the offices, we are still selling and they're still available. The prices have been detailed actually on the presentation. We still have the shopping centers also with the inquiries coming in, which will focus more of the retail, where we'll have cinemas, we'll have fast foods, number of shops. There'll be a lot of things that will be happening at Morocco Square. So that's one of the opportunities that National Housing is still having for you guys to take a chance on. The variety of amenities are available at Morocco Square. If I move down to slide number 7, where we have a swimming pool, security system, standby generator, club houses, coffee shops, water reserve, facility managers' offices, datas, and cabling. I know most of the time when we have this kind of the projects, many people are wondering, like, you know, how are they going to be managed? But actually, with the magnitude that the project has, National Housing has put a lot of emphasis and a focus on it to ensure, like, you know, everything is put in order. If you go on slide number 8, there are a number of reasons why one should buy a unit or invest by buying an office or putting your business. And actually, when I talk about the retail, so there will be option for people to buy. There will also be option for people to lease. So this is another kind of thing that, you know, the diaspora members can look at it and see the kind of business that is you in particular, or if you have a link of the brand that are more reputable, and they'll be more than happy to come in Dar-es-Salaam or in Tanzania. So please feel very free, and it will be highly appreciated for you to provide a link for the same. So the location itself for Morocco add a lot on the project itself. The project composition, where you have, you know, residential, hotel, commercial, and everything. So it's a kind of a project that, you know, it's quite nice in terms of, like, you know, the project itself, the number of people that will be there, which give, you know, the potential of the business if someone is going to put a business right there. The prices are actually indicated on slide number 9. Which I won't go down for each price, but you'll be able to see it. The commercial price are detailed on slide number 10. And then from there, I'll move to 7-Eleven, which I did give the brief on it. 7-Eleven is located at Kawe. This advocates the seaside living, because it's like 250 meters from the beach, which is just the walking distance. We are talking a project where it's like we have a golf course nearly like I would say like not more than 1 kilometer from the site. So, you know, for people who would love to go and play golf, or for the investment purpose, you know, for people who are going to stay there, it's added value to see, like, you know, this kind of facility are close by to the project itself. So there will be several amenities available, talking about the swimming pool, tennis court, other will be basketball court, the track for the running, people will be running, having the jogging, you know, the special part provided. We'll have a shopping center within the project. We'll have a supermarket, coffee shops, food courts. So it's a mixed use project where you have apartments and also you have a part of commercial. As I said, the total is 111,011 square meters with the 80 blocks that will be constructed at Kawe. Different type of apartments are available. The normal 3-bedroom duplex, and a 4-bedroom apartment. So they're all different price, and the price also have been set differing from, you know, the lower level. When you go up, there's an incremental of the price as you move high, because of enjoying the view more than the people on the lower floors. So other facilities will include standby generators and kind of the water reserve, garbage chute. So these are kind of things that you'll be able to appreciate when you go through the presentation. Slide number 15 shows the view of the project itself. When you look at the exterior part of it, you can see the number of blocks that we've been speaking about. Then you can see the amenities, which include the basketball court, tennis court, and the shopping center. The other slide number 16 indicate the rear view. This is on a beach side of it, so which is 250 meters actually from the project. Then slide number 17 actually is a night view. The layout plan actually are detailed from slide number 18 going down. And if you go on slide number 21, it indicates the reason why one should buy actually a unit or put a business at Kawe. Basically, when you talk about 7-Eleven, we are not totally talking about one standalone project. So we are talking about the satellite city that will be coming up. So there will be a lot of things available there. We'll have offices coming within the project itself, because the land side is quite bigger than what we're constructing right now. We'll have some schools there. We'll have offices, shopping malls. You know, in totality, we are talking about the satellite city as a standalone city. So when one invests or buy a unit in 7-Eleven, does not necessarily need to focus on the project itself, but there's a lot of things that will be coming up. The pricing actually are detailed on slide number 22. The other projects which are still available, okay, if you go on slide number 23rd, there's a project in Arusha called Levelosi. Actually, it's just at the city center, and we have most apartments have been sold. We have few which are still on rental, and if someone is going to buy, then we look on the expire of the contract with the tenant. Then someone can buy a project, can buy a unit at Levelosi in Arusha. And then we have GPR, that's a Golden Premier, which I mentioned is within the Kawe Satellite City. This is going to be a mixed use with 194 units. That's coming soon, so someone can make a preparation if interested with a Golden Premier. Slide number 25 actually is an aerial view for Golden Premier with the 4 towers. Then there's another project coming up that is called Plot 300, or the Regent's Corner project, which is the Victoria Place. This is just like 2 kilometers, I would say, or 1.5 from Morocco Square. So this will be a mixed use where we'll have residential units, we'll have offices, and we'll also have retail space. So number of residential units that we're looking is 44 units. The other one are more of the affordable projects where we have Buswell in Mwanza, and there are so many coming up. We'll see on some slides that will be coming after Victoria Place. So the other project is called Victoria, which is close by actually with Morocco. I would say we only have like 2 units remaining. All of them are sold out. We had a total of 88 apartments. What is remaining more is the shopping areas, which will be there for rental and few spaces for sale. So that's a business opportunity that, a member of Diaspora can also grab an opportunity for it. The location is quite nice, and with the 88 units on top, then you're sure of this kind of coffee shops, few restaurants, might be able to attract more of the residents and non-residents. So the price actually shown on slide number 30. Actually, very few apartments remain, as I've said. And this one actually on a duplex, a 3-bedroom duplex, which a few can be obtained. I think maybe 2. There come another project which is called Medeli on slide number 31. This is actually in Dodoma. The project is currently up and running. We have 97 units which were leased out. And again, when we did the leasing, we did indicated like, the units are still for sale. So you have an opportunity to buy a unit actually with a client in. So it's a big opportunity which leave you with the hassle of like, trying to find a tenant. And given the current focus of the government moving the capital city, the operation of the government to Dodoma, then surely you cannot go wrong with the Medeli project. The price is actually around 157 million, excluding VAT. We expect it to come with a communication on how we are going to sell this project anytime soon, maybe next week or week after. So you can start making your plan there for people who are coming from Dodoma, or if you want to put as an investment, I would encourage the most to look from Medeli project. Mongozo Housing Estates, which is actually at within Dar-es-Salaam, is located in Kigamboni, 18.5 kilometers from the ferry. We have different kind of housing there. We are talking about a total of like 200 units. It's kind of the estate project where we have 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom townhouses. Most of course have been sold out. What is remaining the most is townhouses, which are type 3. So if I said it's 18 kilometers and 1.5 kilometer drive in actually from the main road. The project is located 500 meters from the sea. Actually, I would say 500 meters from the beach. There are 2 beaches just close to the project. The remaining one with the pricing is 87 million for the type 3 townhouses. It's 87.5 million without VAT. So if you put the VAT, is actually around 105 million. So more the pictorial for Mongozo. You'll see the townhouses on slide number 37. These are 6 actually in one unit. So we have several number of affordable housing. I've listed them. These are located in different parts of Tanzania. I would say in all regions except Moshi, which will soon be coming. So we have the price with the lowest actually is 30 million Tanzania shilling, equivalent to around 15,000 USD without VAT. So if you go now slide number 40, you'll see the list of the projects from affordable housing, which are still available, which I'm sure most of the diaspora might look back and see like, where you belong, then you can buy a house at home or buying for the family. The pricing for each project is detailed on slide number 41, which you can, take your time after the presentation. Maybe you will have time to look at it. So that's the reason why one should buy unit from NHC, talking about reliability, the infrastructure, the easy payment options, which I'll detail a little bit on coming slides. So as I mentioned, actually with a 10 years strategic plan, Satellite City will be among the projects that National Housing will put a much focus on it. So there is one called Safari City, which I'm sure most of you guys might have had chance actually to go through our website and see what is happening. With the Satellite City, one in Arusha, which I'd like to take maybe some few minutes explaining it. This is the Satellite City, which is located actually in Arusha. It's coming up in Arusha. We're talking around 559 acres built. That's the land size. 559. Katika hiyo 559, actually what we've started as a phase 1 is to sell as a plot, which we call serviced plots, where we bring along to the plots with the water facility infrastructure, the power infrastructure, and actually we make sure the roads are done. not the tarmac roads, but are passable throughout the season. So what we started with is a selling of the plots, and actually we've put around 900 plots on sale, 600 being more for affordable housing. So what we've done is National Housing, actually we've done the master plan for the place, making sure everything has been set just to ensure that the city that is coming will have no compromise. So we have done the master planning. We are now selling plots as a phase 1. And for the affordable housing, the plot price size starts from 300 square meters to 600 square meters. And actually the price for 1 square meter is 35,000 Tanzania shilling. Which cover, you know, as I mentioned, like you'll have water infrastructure brought actually to the plot, and then you'll also have the facilities like power close to the site, to the plot, and the paved roads for easy movement. So 35,000 Tanzania shilling actually for the affordable housing. When you go to mid-rise plots, we are selling at 45,000 Tanzania shilling, which should be around maybe 20 or 22 USD per square meter. The land value in Arusha is quite huge. The prices are quite big, and with this price, actually National Housing, what we focused on, we try to look on the competition point of view. We're also trying to add up value on it by making sure, like, you know, we put the plan in place. So there's a lot of plans that, you know, facilities that have been prepared on. We are looking to have commercial spaces actually within the city itself. We'll have recreational facilities like educational, hotels, playgrounds, that has already been master planned. But again, there will be light industries within the city itself. So it's going to be a standalone city. Safari City, detailed the next generation living. So with the price that we have, with a few information that we have already sent you through, I'm sure we'll be able to find a place within Safari City. Arusha is a tourist city, and you cannot go wrong again with Arusha. Given the climate, the tourism attractions within Arusha itself, or the northern circuit, then you know, it's a proper place where you can put your investment and not going wrong with it. Other satellite city that I might mention a bit is Luguluni in Dar-es-Salaam, which will soon be coming. This is within the Morogoro Road, like past Mbezi, the Mbezi one going to Morogoro. So this is a satellite city that will be coming soon. And for those people who are really attracted with Dar-es-Salaam investment, it's one place that you can also make yourself ready with. I've spoken about Kawe Satellite City. On slide number 45, you will see part of Safari City in Arusha with a few details on it. So as I said, like, you know, the investment options available is one for individuals, offices, you know, as a corporation. So if you have a link like that, if you think of bringing in some investors in Tanzania, then, you know, this is one of the places that, you know, you can advocate about. So apart from mentioning about what we have, I know people are keen to know, if I want to buy a plot, for example, in Safari City, what do I need to do? One need to fill out the application form, which are available on our offices or from the website. You'll be required to submit your form after you've paid down 25% as a down payment. From there, NHC will do the allocation or allotment of the plot and issue an allotment letter. Again, what we'll need someone to do is, like, you know, you'll be required to pay the remaining balance, which is 75% within 45 days. That's the calendar days. There's an option of additional 2 weeks if someone needs to make a preparation. So we'll be talking about 60 days, you know, after you've received your allotment letter. From there, then, you know, in case if someone is going to default, then there's a penalty of 10% from amount that you paid. After that, if you've completed the 75%, then we'll do, National Housing will give you a sale agreement and deed of transfer for the respective buyer. National Housing will also support you along with the municipal council to ensure the transfer of the ownership is done. The applicant will be required to pay the stamp duty and registration fee for the plot. Then after that, the service plot will be handed over, to the applicant. Then at that time, then you'll be a legal owner of the plot. And then normally, according to the land of laws of land, then actually you'll be given 3 years to ensure, there's a development that has happened within the plot. And that is not only for National Housing, but it's more about the requirement by the law of Tanzania. To ensure that people are building according to the plan, we have the building codes that will be handed over to the owner of the plot. That stipulates, what kind of building that you can come out with, and it also gives you the guidelines to ensure that you get the value for money, and the the satellite city that we envision will really come to the reality. So that was more about the process actually to buy the plots. But again, if you go for slide number 49, you'll see more of the payment option that we have. We are advocating more of the mortgage payment options when you come to buying of the house. Even for the plots, we've been working with few banks trying to see if they can support. Of course, a few banks have mentioned to be okay in supporting the buying of the plots. These are among the banks that we've been dealing with, which you'll see them on the coming slides. But again, for the payment option, mortgage is the most effective way of paying, where someone can take a mortgage and being able actually to, to buy the house from National Housing. There's another option which is called progressive payment plan, where you can be paying, on installment basis, where we sit down and agree, but there is a structured way where someone can pay, at least starting with the payment of 10% of the value of the house. And then after 3 months, you're supposed to pay 20%. And then from there, we divide it in equal share or percentage until when the project is completed. So that is a progressive payment plan. The process to buy the house, actually, most of the houses are being sold on a pre-sale concept. We normally advise, or announce the project to be sold through various medias, being it newspapers or website. Then an applicant will be required actually to fill the application form, which can get it from the, our website, or if, it's happening in Tanzania, then someone can just get it from the offices. The applicant will be required to pay 10% down payment of the house. And then the applicant will be required actually to return the form and attach with proof of payment, which will be either the deposit slip or the wire transfer. Then from there, actually, National Housing will scrutinize all the application, seeing if they meet the criteria, and successful applicants will be notified through the letter of offer. If you're going for the mortgage, then you have 90 days to process your mortgage. But again, we know for sure sometimes things doesn't work, within the prescribed period of time, say 90 days. But normally we remain in touch at any time to be able to be helpful during the whole process of, processing the loan or the mortgage from the banks. We have 16 banks right now, which are in partnership with the National Housing, and the list will be described on the coming slides. From there, then applicant will be issued with the offer letter that we'll give you after you've done the 10%. Then you'll use the same offer letter to go to the bank when seeking for the mortgage. Then you don't need to pay to put any kind of collateral security for you to be able to access the mortgage financing. Upon the expire of 90 days, actually, and without any communication in terms of like if someone is pushing for the mortgage, then actually the house will be revoked and allocated to another person. From there, then the refund will be done. Someone can request for the refund or request the amount to be retained with National Housing, waiting for any kind of a new project that will be coming. So that's the process that someone can go through if you want to buy the house from National Housing. Slide number 53 actually shows the number of banks that we are currently with agreement to offer mortgage. We have 16 banks, Tanzania banks, BOA, Bank ABC, CBA, CRDB, Exim Bank, NMB. So you can see the number of the banks that we are actually in partnering with for them to be able to give the mortgages. So that marks the end of my presentation, and actually I'm looking forward to hear some questions and put more clarification from the presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Tuntu, for this very informative presentation. I see there are a number of interesting projects, not just in Dar-es-Salaam, but around the country that diaspora members can participate in. There are definitely various price points, so it looks like there are options for all. So thank you for that. At this time, guests and participants, I'm going to, but please, if you're not speaking, go on mute. Mana tunapata some feedback, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Karibuni. Karibu, hatukusikii vizuri. Okay. One question that I have that somebody was asking, anauliza, mbona bei ni kubwa? Mnatarajia kupunguza bei? Oh, sorry, Tuntu, hold on 1 second. I need to unmute you. Something happened here. Karibu, Tuntu, sorry, we didn't hear you. Karibu tena.
Okay, Jessica anasema najua hilo swali tumekuwa tukikutana nalo sana in many cases, na ukweli ni kwamba tunachojaribu kuangalia ni kwamba tunajaribu kutoa a different type of projects, being it from affordable housing to high end. Na ukiangalia vizuri kwenye presentation, you'll see we have pricings ambazo zinaanzia almost 30 million Tanzania shilling without VAT. Those are affordable ones. In different parts of the country. Labda nikija Dar-es-Salaam mfano, tumefanya Kigamboni hiyo mwongozo. Tumefanya at a price ya mfano 3 bedroom, tumefanya 69 million inclusive VAT. So we're talking about roughly 33,000 USD. What we've been trying to do every single day ni kujaribu kuona kwamba what more efficiency should we put in place kuweza kuangalia, if they add value in, cutting some cost down. Challenge kubwa imekuwa ni hiyo mara nyingi tumekuwa tukiongea, like, with our currency, not being very much stable and having a lot of things being imported, like the materials and everything. So at the end of the day, pia zina add price ya nanili, ya nyumba. Lakini pia kitu kingine ambacho tumekuwa tukijaribu kuona ni kwamba yes, kuna project ambazo zimekuwa ziko na price ambazo ziko kubwa, lakini unakuta nyingi labda ni the premium products, which of course, looking on the locations, you find out like, you seriously better look from that angle. Mara nyingi huwa tunaangalia prices zetu tukifananisha na competitors, na in many cases our prices have been lower than competition or the competitors. Kwa hiyo someone might try to fit in, on the nature of the project that we have, from affordable, mid, actually to high end, depending on, where someone fits the most.
Okay, Asante. I think hopefully that answers the question. And I have a few questions here that people have written in. Kwa hiyo nitazisoma. Ya kwanza ni, does NHC NHC consider homeowners association to keep up the standard of the property? Nadhani anauliza if there are homeowner associations and additional fees that go with the monthly or annual maintenance of the property once you've purchased it.
Yeah, actually, hizi project zote tangu tumeingia kwenye Unit Title Act, then you know, we have those bylaws and communal living within the laws that is actually in existence as of now. Kwa hiyo huwa tunakuwa tuna homeowners association. Kwa hiyo people are having the unit title for each house, and each owner has one voting right. Yeah. Kwa hiyo wanapoishi au tunapoishi kwenye hizi projects, kwa hiyo kunakuwa kuna homeowners association, na pia kwa hiyo kunakuwa kuna hizo monthly fees. Monthly fees is na kulilive of a lot of stuff. One, if you look in average, mfano kuna project tumefanya hapa Upanga, the monthly charge by now we are talking about 250,000 Tanzania shilling, yeah? Which is equivalent to like 110 USD. Kwa hiyo each member yuko responsible kwa kisha analipa on a month end, au anaweza kalipa annually ili kuweza kutake care mambo ya ulinzi, kutake care you know, the public or the common areas like mambo ya lightings, lift, you know, most of the project pia ziko na swimming pool. Kwa hiyo it's also cut across like, you know, maintenance charges. Kwa hiyo ndio maana nasema kuna mtu anaweza kaangalia nyumba za national housing au akasema kwamba ziko na higher price, lakini pia we should look in totality, like, you know, the amenities which are coming with. When you have like, you know, the swimming pool, you have gym on the project, and then like location is prime, okay, which at the end of the day, hata ukienda kwenye leasing bado utapata you know, more rental pricing than like, you know, if you have villas outside the city.
Okay, Asante. That question was from Walter. The next question is, how is the rent square meter in Dodoma? I believe the Dodoma project that you had. He wants a little bit more information, and that is from Baraka.
How is?
Anataka kujua rent, yani, hello?
Yes.
Okay. He wants to know the square footage and the rental amount for the Dodoma project.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, Jessica. Hello.
Tunakusikia, Sophia.
Okay, you wanted to know the size of the house, our houses in Dodoma, isn't it?
Right, and then the amount of rent you would get from that.
Okay. The house size is 115 square meter, which comes with a sitting room, 2 bedrooms, sharing the same bathroom and toilet, and another room. The third room will be the master bedroom, and you're gonna have a kitchen, dining, and a balcony, and somewhere you can do the washing and drying the clothes. For the rental at the moment, before this new hype of the government moving to Dodoma, I think they were going for 500,000 per the apartment. But with this new, like the government moving to Dodoma, we expect the rent to go to the higher side of it. So can be a very good investment in the future, now in the future.
Okay, asante.
Yeah.
The next question is from Walter Anauliza, what is the interest rate? What is the lowest interest rate among the 16 banks that are offering mortgages for people who want to buy houses through NHC?
Okay, currently the lowest one is 18% for shillings, and 8.5% for USD mortgage.
Okay. And then he has a follow-up question, which is, we know that NHC is currently in negotiation with the government to try and waive the 18% VAT on your building materials to lower housing costs. What is the status of that?
Okay, I must say, Jessica, with that one, we've been pushing and it's still on discussion, but it's not yet to be concluded. So, yeah, I wouldn't say it's something that we're looking to have it concluded so soon, given, like, the parliamentary session, the one that ended in July, and there was not much of the discussion on the same. So probably still something that we are still pursuing, but yeah, we cannot say when exactly we'll have it waived.
Okay, so that's still something for, so you might have a status at some other point in time?
Yeah.
Maybe in a few months? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
The other question is, besides these banks that you're using, these 16 banks, are there other sources by which people can get mortgages, such as a private money lender or some other type of entity?
Well, I would still say, like, the safe way is still for a mortgage, the banks, because the other way around is, the interest will be very much unattractive, more than the banks. But again, as I mentioned before, like the progressive payment plan can still be ideal if someone don't wish to go for a mortgage. Let me cite it like, the project for Kawe. Kawe, the project that, we are looking forward to have it completed. When it started, actually, it was 4 years, construction period, which for now, given the current status, because at some stage we are to put on hold, trying to do some value engineering and so there'll be a little bit of a delay on Kawe project, that's 711. Which might offer like even say 4 years for someone to be able to pay. I think the nice deal that someone can strike ni kuweza kuangalia project ambazo zina longer period of time, and then we sit down and see how we can facilitate or work together with the diaspora members, and see if someone can do the breakdown until when the project is completed. Then maybe the pain will not be that much.
Okay, but this applies only for those pre-concept sales. What about if the building is already existing and you wanted to buy? Is there a progressive plan that you could use to purchase that house?
Well, then unfortunately, like, with the projects which have already been completed or are very close to be completed, progressive payment plan does not work so much, because it's going to be like, have a lot of pressure to ensure, like, you complete it within a short period of time, because we normally hand over the house until when the house has been paid 100%. And in case when the project is completed and someone is still on, has not finalized the payment, then will not be able to access the house. And furthermore, it might also start attracting, like, the service charge, which, is going to be another cost that someone might not be very much happy to pay when you still don't have the house. So the best option with the completed project is more about going for mortgages.
Outright purchase.
Okay. The next
Sophia is also
question,
mentioning outright purchase. Sophia is also mentioning, like, the other option is outright purchase, where, like, you have those dollars there, you just transfer them in a bag and sending them back home.
Okay. But that is an option as well, Asante. The next question is, are there any plans to make the mortgage application easier? In other words, do you have some type of portal that you can use to do the mortgage application process on your website?
Okay, I know currently no, but we've been in touch with the banks, to provide that one. And I think it's something that we can take it as a takeaway and make sure at least that one is concluded soonest, because it's not complicated, I know for sure. If we can get some banks, maybe 3 or 4 of them, then they give us the link, then we can put it on a website for people to be able to, like, doing their self-calculations.
Okay, yeah, that would be really helpful. And if you have an update, if you could feed that back, we could share it with the audience. I know they would be interested in getting that information.
Yeah.
And the next question is interesting. It's around the lifetime of the home. So what is the lifetime of your house? And I think what this question is trying to get at is how long can you live in that house before you need to start making major repairs, replacing your boiler, replacing electricity outlets, or whatever the case may be?
What I would say is, like, normally when we give you a house, first you have like 2 weeks to go around and identify snags. Okay, like if there are a few things that need to be sorted out. And that's the first option, the first stage. But second, we have a defect liability period of 1 year time. Okay, with the contractor. That means within 1 year time, the contractor will actually be around on site to make sure, trying to sort out, any kind of issue that may arise. But from there, now what is basing on is more about the quality of the material that have been used, which I can guarantee, like, there's a heavy scrutinization just to make sure, like, we normally provide the specifications, and normally if the supplier has bought something from outside the country, manufacturer, we normally get so close to, the deal itself. Like, any warrant that they've been given, we scrutinize even the source of the, of the materials. So that relieves, the buyers of the hassle to think, like, I'm buying something, maybe after 2 years, something will not be working out. So the way you look on the government operates, and especially when we even do, like, we announce this kind of the tenders, we put the criteria and the classification of each material. So at the end of the day, that ensure, like, whatever that is put on the project will last longer, reasonably, more than someone coming with, sourcing it from nowhere and putting some stuff. And again, we also have, like, what we call contractor administrators, which are always on site with the contractor, verifying the materials and making sure, like, whatever that is being put on the house, will have that quality and they are durable. So this is how I would like to, approach the question.
Okay, and what about if you're a diaspora member and you've purchased this house? This is a follow-up question, and you're not on site to be able to do that 2-week walkthrough to find any snags, and you may not be on site in your home for that first year. How do you handle that? Is there somebody that's available to do the walkthrough on their behalf? How does that work?
Okay, normally the handover process, the way it is, there's an internal procedure first, and there is the second one, which involves the buyer. The contractor builds the house or the project, and then during the completion, even during the construction time, we have a contractor administrator on site every single day, seeing what is happening. Then after completion of the project, the contractor hand over the project to the contractor administrator. So the administrator also have a snag list of, each apartment, each place of the building. From there, the house is also being handed over to, like, our Directorate of Construction, that is Directorate of Innovation, whom also going through the houses and getting, like, every details of the house, of the apartment. The Directorate of Construction hand over the house actually to Directorate of Property Management along with the sales team. So throughout the process, everything is being scrutinized to the last dot. I'm not trying to say, like, people might not skip a single object, but again, coming from the 5 stages of project handover, I'm sure a lot will be identified within that time, if any. But again, when we do a handover, then, if you're not in the country, you might have, a person that you have entrusted and you have signed with them and agreed, like, he can be handed over the house. So the person can go through the house and identify the snags and list out. Because normally there's a template for it, and it identifies each item that need to be looked at. So I still believe, like, the process itself is so friendly, and any representative of yours can help big time. Also, if you want to add something?
No, I think you've said it all. Well explained.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is going back to the government move to Dodoma and the original project that you have there. The follow-up question to that is NHC now preparing to projects in anticipation that the government will have a need for more housing with more people moving to Dodoma? And what do those projects look like?
Sorry?
Yes. Yes. Well, is NHC preparing to build more projects in Dodoma to accommodate the growth of population based on government moving to Dodoma?
Okay, yeah, I was expecting that. See, one thing that I would like, first of all, to bring to the attention of diaspora members, Dar-es-Salaam will remain to be a business city. And with that case is like, you know, in many cases, like, you know, some countries, like maybe South Africa, where you go, you have Johannesburg and the capital cities at Pretoria. Johannesburg remain to be prime, and like, you know, everything is happening right there. So I would like, first of all, to put more confidence to the people who have the investment in Dar-es-Salaam. Like, you know, the shift to Dodoma actually will not have that major impact to the project or to the investment than what someone might think of. Because what we'll see in Dodoma is more about the civil servant moving to Dodoma. And what percentage are the civil servant actually in totality. The number is not that big, okay? So the business will remain to be strong in Dar-es-Salaam as people are moving to Dodoma. Again, looking in Dodoma, we are also trying to work with the government, us being the government agencies, on a number of projects that will be coming out in Dodoma. I will still see the market for Dodoma will be more of the, you know, leasing than buyers, the people who are going to reside to Dodoma. So we'll see more of the people moving to Dodoma, but still have their town, their home in Dar-es-Salaam, or still have their business in Dar-es-Salaam. So Dodoma will offer another good opportunity for investment point of view, where if you can buy and, you know, it will be easier for you to get the tenants, same as what is in Dar-es-Salaam. So the impact will not be as huge as someone would think of.
Okay, thank you very much, Tuntu, and thank you, audience, for all the wonderful questions that you've provided. We hope that this session allowed you to have a better understanding of what NHC has to offer, and hopefully after this you'll be interested in making your own acquisition. And as Tuntu mentioned within the presentation, there's some phone numbers, but he may be able to send you some additional information on how to connect with NHC to get your own dream home in Dar-es-Salaam or any other city around the country. At this time, I would like to turn the call back to Frederick to close us out of the call. Karibu, Frederick. Fred, are you still on the call? I think he might be on mute. Okay, so the last point, and I know Fred already mentioned this, was to remind everybody that DICOTA has its executive committee leadership elections. Nominations are currently being, positions available are president, secretary, assistant secretary, deputy secretary, treasurer, assistant treasurer. So if you or somebody you know is qualified to run and they are a DICOTA member, please send through the nomination. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the DICOTA team. And again, we want to thank our sponsors, NHC, for this very informative presentation. We particularly want to extend our thank you to Tuntu Mwambusi for walking us through this with support from Sophia Mwema. So thank you both for taking time out of your Saturday to educate us on what is available in Tanzania. Asanteni wote, and this now concludes our webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.